You ever have that feeling? You look at your life on paper and it's perfect. You've checked all the boxes, right? The job, the social life, the posts look great. But inside, something's just off. Kind of like you're sleepwalking through your own life. If that hits home, you're in the right place. We're going to talk about how to wake up.
I mean, let's be real for a second. Doesn't so much of modern life feel exactly like this? Like you're the ball in someone else's giant, noisy pinball machine. You're just constantly being bounced around by notifications, expectations, what's trending, the lights are flashing, the bells are ringing, and you think you're scoring points. But here's the kicker. You're not actually in control of the flippers. You're not playing the game.
And honestly, this right here is the heart of the whole problem. We're scrolling, right? And we see these absolutely flawless highlight reels from everyone else. And we completely forget that we're comparing that polished, edited perfection to our own messy, unedited, behind-the-scenes footage. You know, our blooper reel. It's a rigged game. It is literally designed to make us feel like we're not enough.
So let's pull back the curtain and really break down how this machine works. Because it's not an accident that we feel so aimless. The whole system is kind of designed to keep us bouncing from one shiny thing to the next.
You know, it used to just be about keeping up with the Joneses next door. A new car, a nice lawn, manageable, right? Well, now we're trying to keep up with like 500 million people, and every single one of them seems to be having brunch in Bali while simultaneously launching their third startup from a laptop on the beach. It's an impossible standard, and all it does is just burn up our mental energy.
And this leads us right into the influence trap. You have to understand the core transaction here. Influencers aren't just selling you a face cream or a vacation package. No. They're selling you the promise, the fantasy, that this one thing you buy will finally close that gap between the person you are right now and the person you desperately want to be. Spoiler alert, it won't. It can't.
And check this out. This is where it gets kind of weird. A full 41% of us claim we've never bought something because an influencer posted about it. We think we're immune. And yet, the influencer industry is worth billions and billions of dollars. So what does that tell you? It tells you we're being nudged and pushed and controlled by these forces without even consciously realizing it.
Okay, so that's the problem. And yeah, it's a bit of a downer, I know. But here's the good news. You can find the off switch. You absolutely can take back the controls of the game. So let's get into the good stuff. How to actually do that.
And it all starts with this. It starts by changing the fundamental question you're asking yourself. See, we're always asking, what should I do? But that's an external question. It practically invites everyone else's opinion, your parents, your boss, that random person on Instagram. But when you ask, who do I want to become? That changes everything. That's an internal question. It's about your character, not just your career, and you are the only person on Earth who can answer it. So here's the game plan. It's really simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Step 1, figure out what actually matters to you. To you. Not your friends, not your family, you. Step 2, pick your adventure. Choose a purpose that actually aligns up with those values. And hey, it doesn't have to be some grand save-the-world mission. And finally, step 3, act like you mean it. Make the small, daily choices that move you, inch by inch, toward becoming that person.
Okay, so once you've decided to take control, you need a way to navigate, right? You need a compass. That's where your values come in. I want you to think of them as your own internal compass, the good guys that are always there to keep you pointed toward your North Star.
Let's start with courage. We tend to think of courage as some big, heroic, one-time act, but it's not. Real courage is the small, daily practice of choosing your dreams over your fears. It's the story of Sarah, who opened her dream bakery, even though her bank balance was terrifyingly low. Why? Because her dream mattered more than her fear of failure. It's a consistent choice, day in and day out.
Next up, integrity. You know, in a world that's all about fake it till you make it, integrity's basically a superpower. It's about being the exact same person in public as you are in private. It's that sports team that decided to pick a player for their character over their raw talent and then ended up having their best season in years. See, integrity isn't just a nice to have, it's incredibly effective.
In this one, this is such a key distinction. Compassion, it's empathy in action. See, empathy is feeling someone's pain. Compassion is actually doing something about it. It's the difference between saying, man, that sucks, and asking, hey, how can I help? In a team setting, this is what creates psychological safety. It lets people innovate and take risks because they know for sure that someone has their back. It's a value that produces real, tangible results. But of course, for every good guy value, there's a villain lurking in the shadows, just waiting to pull you right back into that pinball machine. And honestly, just knowing what these traps look like is half the battle.
The biggest one is ego, the direct opposite of compassion. And the real difference here is just focus. Compassion looks outward. It asks, how can I help? How can we be better? Ego, on the other hand, only looks inward. Am I right? Am I the best? It might seem like a subtle shift, but it's a life-altering difference in your whole perspective.
And if you want to see what a destructive ego looks like in the real world, look no further than this, the infamous feud between Vin Diesel and The Rock. You have two of the most successful actors on the entire planet who literally could not stand to be in the same room together. They had to force the editors to shoot their scenes separately and stitch them together later. That's what ego does. It makes you prioritize being right over being effective or collaborative or even just happy.
Then you have the illusion merchants. Think Fire Festival, think the Tinder swindler. These villains are absolute masters of manipulation. They don't just sell you a product or a ticket, they sell you a story about transformation, a story you desperately want to believe about yourself. The only reason these massive scams work is because people are so hungry for a shortcut to a better life that they'll willingly ignore every single red flag.
And finally, there's greed, the ultimate lie. It's the appetite that just grows by eating. It promises happiness through getting more, but it's a hunger that can literally never be satisfied. From Enron to the 2008 financial crisis, it's a story that always ends the same way. People who have everything, risking it all for just a little bit more, and ending up with nothing that truly matters.
So if chasing money and fame and perfection, if that doesn't work, what does? This is it. This is the final and most important part of our whole discussion. The real path to fulfillment. Well, it's probably not what you think.
Here it is. This is the whole secret. Fulfillment isn't some destination you arrive at. It's not a prize you win at the end of the game. It's something you create daily through a series of small, intentional choices. It's the quiet satisfaction that comes from making those choices day after day that line up at the person you truly want to become. It is built, not found.
And let's have some real talk for a second. You're going to mess up. You are absolutely going to have days where you fall right back into that pinball machine. And that is okay. That's not failure. That's just being human. The goal isn't perfection. Nobody's perfect. The goal is simply awareness. It's about noticing when you're drifting and having the grace to gently steer yourself back on course.
And that's really what we have to remember, isn't it? This isn't a dress rehearsal. We don't get a do-over. This is the show, right now. Every single day is part of the main performance. So we can either spend it trying to play a role that someone else wrote for us, or we can finally step into the one we were always meant to play.
So that leaves us with one final question. The pinball machine? It's optional. You know how the game is rigged, and now you know how to take back the controls. The only thing left to decide is, what are you going to choose?